So, I'm going to talk about how shame develops. So, for example, if we imagine a young child maybe drawing on the bedroom wall and the parent tells them off and shows disapproval, understandably, the child feels a strong sense of shame. They feel bad about what they've done. And if the adult then helps to repair that relationship, so reprimands the child but actually explains that it's about the behaviour, then they can repair that relationship. And how long the child stays in shame affects actually how painful that shame experience is. If, however, the parent responds very differently, perhaps really criticising, ridiculing, or humiliating the child, then the child can feel stuck in shame and actually feels that their behaviour is about them being wrong or bad rather than it being about something they've done. So it becomes about actually who they are rather than what they've done. So if we think about children who've experienced trauma, they often have a really deep sense of shame. So if they've been abused or been neglected, then they might feel that that's their fault. If they're a looked after child and not with their birth family, they might feel that that is their fault. And they often feel not good enough. And that can really easily be triggered in school, maybe by an adult maybe using a firm tone of voice or giving a disapproving look, and it can really trigger the child feeling not good enough. So, what can we do? How can we help these children? So, what often really helps them is a sense of empathy. So, for example, if a child says, I'm rubbish, rather than saying, no, you're not, actually acknowledging the feelings and saying something like, that must be really hard to feel like that. That sounds really difficult. Or if a child says, I always get things wrong, again saying, that must be really hard. I wonder if I could help. Or if a child says, no one likes me, rather than reeling off a list of children who do like them, because that can be seen as really dismissing or discounting their feelings, saying something like, that must be really hard to feel like that. That can feel quite lonely. And then maybe exploring a little bit. So saying something like, I wonder if you're worried about who will sit next to you on the bus this afternoon when we go swimming. It might not be anything to do with that, but trying to think about the child and maybe thinking actually what does it mean. So just being aware of children who've experienced trauma will often have really deep feelings of shame. And shame is very difficult to, for them to manage really. It's very different to guilt. Guilt is I've done something wrong and I feel bad. So it's very separate. It's about the behaviour. Shame is I'm wrong and I'm bad. So really helping children just to actually be with their feelings of shame can often really help to shift that for them.